Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Hunt here at My Panther Pride. And today we have special guest Jordan Ober. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Let people know a little bit about you.
Yeah. Like you said, my name's Jordan. Born and raised in Las Vegas. That's always a fun fact I give people. You know, people actually are born there and live there. They don't just go there to party. Currently live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And yeah, I'm long snapper. It's the best position in the world.
All right. Just as a long snapper, like what kind of preparation does that take? Like a lot of people don't really give your position a lot of credit, you know what I'm saying?
Or know it exists, to be honest.
Right. Or know that it's just like a specialty position.
Yeah, casual fan, they're like, what is that's not the same guy?
Yeah. And also let me know, sorry, the AC just came on. If that's too loud, I can go turn it off. But I think
No, you're all good.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I would say preparation-wise, all three of us, kicker, punter, long snapper, a lot of it's mental, because you got to do the same thing over and over and over again. Except at this level, the pro level, as a long snapper, you have to block. So I guess there's a little bit of a physical preparation, but I would say 99% of it's mental. It's it's kind of like shooting a free throw, just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
I've also heard it equated to golfing, just like a golf swing in general, like just being consistency, like you said, just all mental preparation, not letting, talk or any little deviation sway you from what you typically do.
Yeah, that's a good example too, especially because, again, all three of us, we do rely on each other. But at that very moment, it's kind of like just you. We kind of like golfing, right? Like my job is to get the ball back to the punter or the holder. And there's not a whole lot that goes into it, and you just got to be perfect. I mean, the best thing I go by as a long snapper is to be anonymous. I don't want anyone to know my name. I want just to go unnoticed. If no one knows who I am, that means I did my job.
Just go out there, do your job, and get it done.
Exactly. It's the best position, I think, because it's it's thankless. It's kind of like the blue collar, kind of like linemen as well, right? Obviously, linemen are. I'm not comparing myself to linemen; those guys are crazy. But it's just a thankless job, which I like. I like to be anonymous. It's you're not the quarterback, which it's nice. Even though there's a ton of pressure that goes with it because you have to be perfect.
Yeah, in that exact moment, and it's funny how you designate it as I'm doing this soul thing, which is probably how you have to have it to get you to have your process. But the process of an extra point or a punt, it's all it's three guys who are two or three guys who are in there. But so I think it's interesting how you think of it as an individual thing, and most people, even me myself, I was a punter in high school, and I still think of it as a 1, 2, 3 of a process.
Oh yeah, and I still think of it like that. They call us the battery, especially on field goal. Starts with the snap, then the holder's got to get it down. Hopefully, my job is to make them not have to spin the laces, and then kicker puts it through. And I guess with my position, I treat my success as their success. So if for example, last year, with Jake, how he was super successful, and I'm so proud of him and so happy for him. And him being successful, I took, all right, that means us three as a unit, we were successful.
Absolutely.
Yes. I completely agree with that.
All right. Well, one that we got that's off topic what we were just talking about, but we talked to Coach over the weekend, and we've been discussing it kind of with everybody, but we kind of want to just get your thoughts on the hub and how you think it's going to affect the operation of the league, or even relationships between players or even teams and coaches within the league.
Yeah, with that new facility there that they just bought.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the new facility. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think any of us have. I think as far as fan engagement, I think we can make it work. We get there, say we play Sunday, we get there Saturday, and we can go do our fan engagement in Michigan, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. I like the hub system. I mean, I think as first off, as players, when we're playing this league, I'm blessed to even be playing. So I have zero complaints because I get to do what I love and call that a profession. So I like the hub system. I understand the hub system. I think it'd be cool to eventually be in Michigan. But I do understand, crawl, walk, run, and the fact that we're, getting in the second year of the UFL is awesome. And there's been no talks of anything negative. I think it's all positive. And from on the inside, it is all positive. It's great. It's a great product. It's a great system. I love it.
Yeah, we're really hoping that the UFL is here for the long haul. We want it to be sticking around. That's why we're doing what we're doing, trying to get as many Panther fans rallied up to get to the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, you guys coming down to do the fan engagement. I mean, Lauren kind of just saw basically a hole. Like, there's nobody here now, though, before. Like, you got to gain traction before you can, like you said, you got to walk, crawl, walk, run. So trying to, fill that little bit of a gap until they get down here and start, putting in the boots on the ground.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people up here that just don't know about the UFL.
Mm-hmm.
I say something to almost anybody that I see, and they're like, what? There's another team that plays at Ford Field that plays football there? I'm like, yeah, dude, and it's super affordable. You need to go check out a game. What's it going to hurt? A couple hours and $20?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that'll grow as the league grows. The marketing will grow. And, hopefully, I've seen the commercials. They're awesome. Hopefully people like Jake Bates, going to the Lions. I think hopefully specifically our market will grow. They're hungry for football, especially with the Lions being good. Why not continue to come show support? And I'm really hoping that happens because it seems like a lot of people, at least locally here, know who people like Jake are and people like Brandon Aubrey. And obviously I'm being specialist biased, but there's other players as well. But kind of jumping right into that stardom, and they came from the UFL, or I guess Brandon came from the USFL. And hopefully that, helps continue growing this league.
Right. Those two are like the most predominant that everybody knows, though, and it's kind of funny that it is specialists. It's a little different.
Yeah, because with specialists at the next level, there's no depth. It's one kicker, one punter, one long snapper. So I guess it makes sense why, because there's a bunch of guys who will make it and eventually work their way up to being a starter, but they don't necessarily get, when you're a kicker, it's just you. You know what I mean?
Right. They're not trying to develop a specialist. They need somebody there that can do what they need to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in that position, I mean, your margin for error is so little, and then it's all right. Next guy.
Especially as a long snapper. I mean, with kicking and punting, you can kind of get away. Obviously, if you miss 4 or 5 kicks in a row, unless you're Justin Tucker, you're fine. But as a long snapper, if I have 1, maybe 2 bad snaps, like really bad snaps, I'm done. I'm out, and I'm probably never getting another chance.
One rough day, man. It's all it takes.
It's all it takes.
Yeah.
So plenty of reps.
Yeah.
Lots of reps.
Lots of reps. It's like free throws, especially field goals. That's a little more finesse. Just free throws, practice those over and over and over again.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jesse. You can take this one.
All right. Well, kind of, touching on how you were saying the different USFL, UFL, but what was is your experience between the leagues of the USFL and the UFL, and I guess the Generals and the Panthers now?
Yeah. I loved my time at the USFL, especially with the Generals. My quick little story, how I got into the USFL, I was retired for a couple years. I tried right out of college. I graduated 2018, and then COVID happened. And especially as a long snapper, it's really hard to make the NFL because if you're good enough, you can play for 12 to 15 years and just be there forever. So it's hard to crack in. So I tried it for 3 years, was done. And then my wife actually encouraged me. She's like, go to this USFL camp. We specialists have these combines. And so I went, did really well, and turned out the only coach there was Mike Riley, who was my college coach. So I hadn't seen him in a couple years, asked how I've been, and next thing you know, signed to the Generals, continuing the dream. I was 27, so I was 27 when I got my first ever post-college football opportunity.
Oh, wow.
And I loved it. You know, it was a little interesting telling people I played for the New Jersey Generals living in Canton, Ohio. That one was kind of tough to explain. You know, at least with the UFL we play in our market, which is awesome. I think that's a huge deal because it was tough to get people to come to games. Even though Canton's such a huge football hub, people are like, why are we going to go see New Jersey play Pittsburgh in Canton? Like, it didn't make sense. But again, I was blessed to even be playing football. So I do understand. I know those are like small complaints, but I do understand why the league does that. But, you know, I'm now super happy I'm playing for the Panthers. I love our coaching staff. I love our team. I'm excited. I mean, this is the first time I'm going to be on a back-to-back team. You know, I'm coming back on the same team. I haven't done that since college. So I've been on a different team. So I'm really excited. And as far as the league goes, I mean, obviously the UFL is better. You know, we're Under Armour. We actually have a brand. And, you know, having The Rock marketing helps. It's just everything's just kind of a, you know, big step up. But it's nothing bad about the USFL. The USFL was necessary, and I loved it.
I got something I want to pull up here. Do you follow any of the guys from Pro Football Newsroom?
I think I do on Twitter, but I deleted my Twitter.
Okay. Well, there's a guy named Ducky, and he said he took this picture. He said he doesn't know if you've ever seen this picture. He said he's been gatekeeping it for 2 years.
I have never seen that picture.
So
that's awesome. Yeah.
He told me to throw that up there for you so you could see it. I can send it to you after we're done here.
Please do, because I don't think I have a picture like where it shows my last name like that. Yeah. That is awesome.
Ducky's a whiz with the lens, apparently.
Yeah, go Ducky.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, he was one of the media guys there, I guess.
I think I know.
He lives in Canton.
I think I'm trying to think of if he's the right guy who, you know, at first he was slightly upset that I was the new Generals long snapper.
Oh. You had to ease in. You had to ease into him.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, Ducky. They call him the community legend. He's known for kind of stirring the pot in there.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing him do that quite a bit. That's why I deleted Twitter, because of him.
Come on, Ducky.
It's all your fault, Ducky. He said he's going to be watching this too. So, but if you want to lean into the locker room culture, or you know how maybe the specialists differ from like the rest of the locker room, do you guys do your own thing separately, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like private contractors. That's the best way to put it. But also, definitely at this level, like getting to the pro level, the guys accept us way more because they know that we're necessary. Like, for example, in college, not that the guys, you know, hated us, but they definitely envied us when they're, you know, running gassers or doing their fourth team period and, you know, we're over playing punt golf. It's just part, you know, it keeps us dialed in. It's necessary. We have to do that. Because, I mean, the thing with specialists is, to go back to what you said, we're kind of like golfers. I'm not going to snap 300 balls a day, right? My elbow will fall off. It just can't happen. Just like you're not going to make a golfer hit 300 drives a day. I would say like snapping a punt is compared to like hitting a drive. You're putting all your effort into it. Every punt snap I do is 100% max effort. So you're not going to do that every single day, 300 reps. It's not like, you know, doing a pass pro or running routes. So we do have kind of, you know, our downtime, and definitely now I'm at this level, I'm more locked in, you know, trying to watch team period, and do all that. And, you know, we're not playing punt golf necessarily anymore. That was more in college, but you know, this locker room specifically has definitely accepted specialists. Our group of guys are amazing. It's probably the, you know, most close-knit locker room I've ever been in. It's awesome. I love it. All the guys are – I'm actually really excited to see the guys. I haven't seen them in a while since – I've seen a couple that live here in Scottsdale, but I'm definitely excited to be back in that locker room.
Yeah, you miss that camaraderie, man. You do. So it's
100%.
it's almost immediate, and then it just continues to grow.
100%.
Yeah, you build a brotherhood with them, all them guys that you work with, and you put all that work in with, and you go through them ups and downs, and you succeed together and you fail together. You know what I'm saying? It's a band of brothers out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
especially being a snapper, not saying the kicker and punter aren't part of the team. They definitely are, and they're necessary, and the guys love them. But I'm on the line with the guys, which is nice, especially in punt, because field goal, they can't touch me, but punt, I'm getting up and I'm blocking and I'm part of the mesh, right? Like I'm there with them, and it's a ton of fun. And, I love being a part of that.
Oh yeah, I was watching actually I don't know if you run it, but you have a YouTube channel. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I was watching your highlights, man. The first one off, you got tackle right off rip. I was like, okay, he started this one off right. I like it.
Well, yeah, my goal is I would love to get a tackle every single game. I don't know. It's super hard for a long snapper to do that, but I would love to do that this year. That's going to be tough, but I'm going to try.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
goal
a good
to have.
Yeah, that's a good goal. But as Henry Ford said, what did you say, Lauren?
Obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off the goal.
So don't take your eyes off that goal.
Bingo. I like that.
Dude, that hit me in high school. One of my English teachers, she put that up on the board, and I was like, that's sticking with me for life.
Yep. Well, kind of building off of that. So what the locker room's tight, you said. So what is different about like the specialist cohesion? I know that you're all locked in, but I mean, last year you guys seemed to have a very tight group. So I mean, is that a common trend on different teams or different places you've been, or was that an oddity?
It's a common trend. So usually all specialists, you'll see. I mean, it's because you spend so much time with each other, right? Like especially we all live together. We're all going to live together again this year. You're constantly around each other all the time, even outside of football. So, and I think that's it's kind of like, I feel like the quarterback center are usually always super close. It's similar with us three, because we all rely on each other for success.
Makes sense. For sure.
Codependent, but not in a negative way, not in a relationship way. But yeah, that totally makes sense. You guys gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
And then something I wanted to ask, are the specialists still going to do pregame Sundays? Or is that just a Jake Bates thing?
So that was actually Jake did it, and also Trey Quinn. So neither one are coming back, I don't think. I think Trey retired. So, it might be up to me to start to carry on the tradition.
Yeah, I would say you're the last specialist left there because Brock's gone and Jake.
Yep. So I think, to answer your question, yes, because why not? Why not have a Sunday?
Why not?
You got it worked. It worked. You got to keep the tradition alive. Carry that torch.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something it just popped in my head. I was like, oh, I know that video's around here somewhere.
No, it was fun. It was usually, I don't know who was the previous year when I wasn't here, but we had a good group. It was me, Brock, Jake, Trey, and Frank. I think we had a couple maybe cycle in and out, but that was kind of the core group.
Yeah, I think the video that I saw, it was just you three specialists, just you, Brock, and Jake.
Yeah, we did that one, for a little content.
Yeah.
So is that a specific place? Are you guys like navigating to new places every game, or do you have a dialed in I guess franchise or chain that you go to?
So the one in Detroit, the hotel we stay at, has probably one of the best. Was it a Pizookie, like the cookie with ice cream on top?
Yeah,
I've ever had. So when we're in Detroit, we do it at the hotel because it's unbeatable. And then when we travel, we'll see what the hotel has. Sometimes it's hit or miss, and we'll just look up the nearest ice cream shop and go do it.
If we end up, Lauren, going to do that O-lineman thing at the hotel, that's what we gotta get in there and get one of them Pizookies or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, definitely have to get it on some pregame ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good. I'm trying to remember the hotel name. It's the one in Troy. I forgot the one we stay at.
All the way in Troy?
I think it's Troy. We're about 40 minutes outside of Detroit.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty close to you then.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work at the sports center right there. Ran the hockey league for a couple of years. All right, so we always throw in some weird off the wall questions. So this one, I kind of struggled finding one, but I found one I think is going to be pretty good. So if animals could talk, right, all animals you know of, which one do you think would be the rudest and why? What makes you think that? In my mind, immediately I go to those monkeys in like Costa Rica who are just like running up to your resort and stealing your phone and throwing your stuff over the railing. But
I think, no hesitation, turkey.
okay.
I've never had a positive experience with the turkey ever. And because when I went to school in Nebraska, they were everywhere. And I've always said, I'm not a big hunter. I wouldn't like hunt deer. I wouldn't hunt any of that, but I'll go turkey hunting.
You want to put a turkey down, huh?
Those things, they taste good and they are not nice. They're just vicious all the time. I don't know if they're territorial or whatnot. I'm not a turkey expert, but they're never nice.
Never nice.
Yeah.
There was a rooster that was behind like a convenience store across from the main gas station that my mom worked at when I was a kid. And that freaking rooster used to chase us all the time, up and down the road all the time.
It's like, I wonder if they knew what they were doing, like just tormenting. Like, they will never attack you, but we just want to, torment you a little
We're
bit.
small enough to where they're just going to run away. They don't want to mess with us, but we're going to see what's happening. It always seems. Go ahead.
I was like 9-10 years old, and there's rooster just comes out of the bush and just flapping its wings and shit at me.
Especially at 9 years old, what are you going to do? You're like, I'm not standing up to this thing. I'm running away.
Just take off running every time. Yeah. Maybe pick up some rocks every once in a while and throw them back there.
And it's always birds. I don't get it. Like geese. My buddy got attacked by a goose. He ran, I swear, a quarter mile from this goose at a zoo. And it's just chasing him down the pathways. People everywhere. And it was beelining for my friend. I'm like, I don't know what you did to this goose, man.
It is all birds. Like, I remember going to a zoo, and it was kind of like not an open zoo, but I don't know if you've ever been to a place where they have like the peacocks kind of walking around. They're mean too. Like, I don't know what their deal is.
I don't know, man. They say birds are closest to dinosaurs, so maybe they're just old. They're over it. They're like, get out of here. You haven't been around long enough. Get out of my face. So one thing I did want to ask, I wanted to ask about, I guess, what separates great long snappers such as the reigning, defending 2024 all UFL long snapper versus like, just everyday long snapper. Like, what makes someone elite? And I know we've talked about consistency, but could you maybe explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I would say as a long snapper, there's usually three things that people look for, that coaches look for, and it's your ability to snap, obviously, your ability to cover, and your ability to protect. And, I think I was grateful enough, I think having Jake helped a ton. I'm going to, give a lot of credit to him. Because it's hard to put yourself as a long snapper on the map, but having him, at least kind of put a spotlight on all three of us. And our punt team was amazing. I think we have the best unit in the league. And, I was, again, grateful enough. I trained hard enough. I think I had all three. And I think definitely getting, a few tackles helped. That separates a lot of long snappers. Because, there's a lot of snappers in the league who, aren't very big. Like, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest. I'm only, 6'1", 235, 240. But there's guys in the league who are like 250, 260. Those guys are usually good at protecting and good at snapping, and they don't really cover as well. So I try and pride myself on covering because I'm not going to be 250, 260. It won't look good. So I pride myself on that. And I think that definitely helps separate, good long snappers to elite long snappers. Because I guess just being an athlete.
Yeah, or being able to lean into your strengths, which is kind of what it seems, being able to, I could go this way or I could go this way, and I'm definitely not going there. So I'm going to focus over here.
Exactly. Like I'm not planning on. I mean, it'd be cool if it happens, but I'm not planning on pancaking a guy who's like 275. That's probably not going to happen. But I will block him. And I always tell, like I coach some kids long snapping. I always tell them when you get to the level where you start protecting, it's all about surviving for 2 seconds. You got to survive for 2 seconds. And then the punt's off, and then you go cover. You don't have to, you're not a left tackle kick stepping and having to maneuver. I mean, there's definitely, you got loopers and they try to pick you, but you pick that up quickly and it's all, you react and you survive for 2 seconds and then you run downfield and make a tackle.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Simple.
Man, and I when I was watching that film earlier, I was watching you, and there's one of them. I think I had watched it a few times. You guys were locked in. I swear it was 40 yards downfield. You guys were hand fighting the whole way. He was just locked. He didn't even try to get past you. He was there for you.
That happens. That happened to me in college too, where I think I had to tackle in back-to-back games. And long snappers usually don't get tackles. Like in the NFL, I think the leading guy had 6 tackles. It was in 17 games. So it's hard to get tackles because, usually the gunners are super fast and they go down and make a tackle. You're usually you're the least athletic guy on the field. Maybe the punter is. It's you and the punter. But, I think I had a game where in last year I had back-to-back tackles and they put a guy on me. And I actually remember, I think it was against Arlington. I was running down and the guy was on me. And I think after the play was over, I was like, thank you, man. I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It's the exact same play. Yep.
I was like, the fact that you had to cover the long snapper, and that means someone way more athletic is not getting covered. And I was like, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
If you keyed me as a problem, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, Lauren, you want to hit us with our fan questions that we got? We put out a post. I know you just said you deleted your Twitter. If you ever reopen it, you're gonna have a bunch of stuff from us. So we put out something just asking anybody if they had any questions they wanted to ask you, stuff to run by you. So
yeah, I had a buddy that long snapped in high school, and he said, what would be some workout tips on getting like hip rotation or better pop for your snap?
Yeah. I would say something that's helped me is getting my core strength up, because there's a lot when you snap, and especially when you snap and get up the block, it's a lot of the crunching. So as far as strengthening the core in anything helps, but specifically with this, it helps. And then just flexibility, getting the hamstrings flexible, getting those hips open. That's something I've actually focused a ton on this year, where I've kind of revamped my body. I've lost a little bit of weight, but I've gotten more flexible and stronger. So I think just being flexible. I mean, I remember going to camps when I was younger. There's some of these just freaky kids who can, do the splits or bend their elbows all the way to the ground when they're standing up, touching their toes. I mean, the more flexible you are, the better.
That's good. And then he asked, why did you decide to be a long snapper, or did football kind of like push you toward, like, did you get pushed into it?
Yeah, I would say you ask any snapper who started snapping like 5 years ago, and prior to 5 years, they were forced into it. It was not cool. I feel like now being a long snapper is cool. Like, I don't know if you guys see it on social media. There's a ton of people learning how to long snap, and they know it's kind of you punch your ticket to get a scholarship.
Right.
Before that, I definitely got forced into it. I was a wide receiver. I went to Bishop Gorman. I don't know if you guys heard it. We were a powerhouse national champion.
With you at wide receiver?
I was supposed to be wide receiver, and then Snoop Dogg's kid, Cordell, came in. And, rest is history.
Oh, man, the DOWG took your spot, man.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I wasn't going to play D1 football as a wide receiver. So, I got to focus more on long snapping, and I only had one offer, and it was to Nebraska, and rest is history.
Nice.
But
that's a really good. I don't know. There's like a good lesson in there to, I'm sure at the time it probably hurt your pride and you're like, this is what I want. But now, looking back on it, and you could have sulked and been like, screw you. I'm going to continue. I'll be a tight end then, I'm going to still be out there. But you're like, I'll take it and I'm going to work with what I got and I'm going to move forward and look where it's got you. So that's pretty cool.
100%. And I guess I didn't really answer your question directly. So I did get forced into it. I was in PE. The junior varsity team was like, we need a long snapper. I was like, I think I can do it. Threw okay ball. And then I was a snapper on JV. I rolled my first 3 snaps. And then my punter's dad went up to my dad and gave him a card and said, go to this guy. His name is Rubio. And he's kind of the leading high school guy. And he's like, he needs to learn how to snap better because my son's not getting any good snaps so he can even punt. And then, went and did all that. I was kind of had the natural knack for it. And that's how I grew from there.
Well, that's awesome.
Nice.
When I was in high school, I was the long snapper. So I did, field goals and punts, but I was also backup punter, which was also, but my best friend was the punter, but we always joke like, dude, you better not go down. Cause I can't snap it to myself. I don't know what's going to go on.
That's awesome.
But, yeah.
Who was the punter for PH when you were there?
Kenny, when I played.
Oh, Radigan?
Yep. And it's funny. We had our first game. It was on film. He was so mad at me. I snapped it. I hit him in the face, Matt. But he telling everybody it was bad snap, hit the ground because it was a safety. The next day in the locker room when we were watching the film, the shit he got when everybody saw it hit him in the face and bounce up in there. I told you, man. I told you.
That's funny.
Yeah. Did you have was there another one or was that it?
I think we kind of covered it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But Chris Tisdale, he's kind of active on X. I mean, you're not anymore, but he did a UFL card giveaway. He's been doing them a lot recently. And he said, my 12-year-old son has been center for 6 years now and has gotten really good at snapping. Do you have any recommendations for him?
The 3 pillars.
Yeah, the 3 pillars. How old is he?
12?
Yeah, 12 is a little young to start worrying about blocking. But I mean, just keep working at it. And if you can, go to these camps. I think there's Rubio, there's Cole, there's a bunch of different places to go because, they taught me. But where I learned the most was my peers, like going to these camps and just seeing, these guys have been doing it for so long. I'm like, whoa, that's what I can be. And then just picking pieces and learning. And I also watched a ton of YouTube on just people doing it. So I think advice I can give when you're starting out is just go on YouTube and look up these guys who, there's 4 or 5, I guess there's 6 stars now. I think, I don't know how they do it, but all these top guys and just go watch them snap. And I used to go in slow-mo and I'm like, okay, so that's how they're gripping it. All right, I'm going to try it this way. This guy grips it that way. I'm going to try it that way. Just a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, that's something I was a little curious about is you mentioned earlier, getting the laces right, getting the amount of rotation down on the ball. And just I want people to think about that for a second. How many times do you actually have to snap that ball to know the amount of rotations you have from where you're at to where the guy behind you is at, to get it to where the laces are out.
Yeah.
The holder doesn't have to reposition it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of reps and a lot of hours. And then trying to figure out how to grip the ball. So like when I'm on field goal, I have the laces. What is that? 11 o'clock. So I don't grip the laces on field goal. I grip the panel because that's how I get the perfect rotation. And I have my holder at the back of 8 yards, not the front, because if he's at the front of 8 yards, his lace is back. So it's definitely not just me. It's the holder as well, just being consistent. Like when I've had a couple group lessons with a snapper and a punter or holder. And I'm like, okay, when you're holding, always have your elbow touching the back of your knee so it doesn't move. You're catching in the same spot every time. But yeah, a lot of trial and error. Honestly, it depends too on different balls, like the UFL ball versus the NFL ball versus a college ball. It's different sizes. So just a ton of reps. And now it's kind of an expectation once you get to this level. If you throw laces back a ton, you'll get fired.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, those little details that matter that, ultimately can make you lose your job. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people there's so little room for error, and there's so many people that want to take your job.
Yeah, especially when it's a 64-yard game-winning field goal. If I would have thrown laces back
in game one, man.
in game one. So I can't. I've heard it's a nightmare trying to kick laces. So it's a very slim margin of error, and probably a good thing. No one probably remembers me snapping that ball or Brock.
Well,
Holding.
You said try to be as anonymous as you can.
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't want nobody to know who you are.
That's the way I like it.
Well, thank you for your hours of dialing that in. We appreciate that.
Yeah, until you become all UFL, long snapper, and then people kind of know who you are, right? And then you have Jake over there just shining the spotlight on you three.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much all the questions I got. Lauren, you got anything else to add?
No, I think we covered everything that I needed to cover or wanted to cover.
Heck yeah. Jordan, do you have anything you'd like to add, or anything you'd like to say to the fans?
No, I appreciate you guys having me on, and we need all the fans to show up. Everyone who loves Jake, come to the game, which I'm assuming is every single Lions fan in Detroit. So come show support, see where he came from, and let's create more superstars.
Yeah,
and win games, most importantly.
I did have one more question. Sorry, I just thought about it. Have you met BT yet? Have you guys, or are you guys meeting down in Arlington?
Yeah, so I've met BT when I was with the Generals, when Nick Skiba was our kicker. Him and Nick Skiba are best friends. So BT came and visited Nick, actually stayed with us, so I got to get to know him. And then our punter, Simon, actually lives in Scottsdale. So I work with him every single day.
It's the connections are already shaping the trifecta. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Heck yeah. And as always, people, follow us on all the socials. Everything's My Panther Pride. We haven't put up the TikTok on the new
yeah, I'm working on a new one right now. I have it in another tab. So,
and then don't forget to pick up your W. Use code MPP10 to get 10% off. And as always, Panthers fans, remember, let's hunt.